So I want to start this one off by saying I despise organized religion. I think it is a fast way towards zealotry and a very closed mind. And I really want nothing to do with church. People are like, I grew up in a black church. I find the people to be very hypocritical and not much abiding by Lord's will. So I don't really mess with them. But we got a very interesting story here from Insider New Jersey. Garden State Equality condemns erasure of students' LGBTQ pride mural in Hackensack public school over church objections. Now, about last year sometime, New Jersey decided that it wanted to start teaching LGBTQ lessons to school children, and I have an issue with that. I've taken like deal is that I don't I don't think that that is appropriate for children. Sorry. If you're an adult and you want to do whatever it is you want to do, by all means. But when it comes to kids, when it comes to what kids are shown and how they're brought up, I ultimately believe that's up to the parents, and it's not for a school or society in general to decide. New Jersey does not agree. Nice little mural. Church has extended history of censoring curriculum and student speech on LGBTQ issues within the school. This week, an LGBTQ pride mural created by a student at Bergen Arts and Science Charter School was painted over following complaints by the school's landlord, Holy Trinity Church, who called the Rainbow Heart offensive. BASC is a public school that is privately run as a charter school. Oh my goodness, charter schools. I think charter schools are the worst. I really do. Garden State Equality was informed by the student, a 16-year-old high school junior at BASCS, that the school has a long history of restricting educational and censoring faculty and student speech within the school. So this is okay. So it's just this one 16-year-old. Following complaints by the landlord in 2018, the school abolished a long-running daily educational program which taught students about a unique historical figure every day, after the school included LGBTQ figures during Pride Month. Additionally, the school's psychologist was forced to remove a poster supportive of LGBTQ students. The poster was signed by faculty and students and merely declared the office a safe space for LGBTQ students to enter for support. So here's the deal. I don't believe that LGBTQ and children belong in the same sentence. You're talking about sexuality, ultimately what people like to do with their junk. I don't think that there's anything more private in in your own existence. Whatever you've decided you want your sexual identity to be is a matter between you and whatever partners you have coming up. And what we've and to an extent, I appreciate it. I can't appreciate the movement to be more inclusive, because the last thing you'd ever want anybody to do is to be harmed or hurt because of the way that they feel that they are. No doubt at all. And that's not what, and I never want anybody to receive any kind of violence. And to be honest, I would prefer people not to be, to not, harass or, make jokes. But at the same time, I also know you can't dictate other people's behaviors, and you can't, you can't tell other people what to do. But in a large part, I feel as if, since, the 90s and stuff like that, we've come a long way in the means of acceptance when it comes to, the LGBTQ lifestyle. But when it comes to mixing it with children, that's where the problem really starts to persist. When I was a kid, right? My dad used to tell me all the time, I didn't send you to school to make friends. I sent you to school to learn. And I can't help but feel like this is a part of it as well. I mean, I'm still kind of confused about LGBTQ curriculum. Like, exactly what does this person, whatever historical figure that they're putting out there, what does their sexuality have to do with whatever it is that they accomplished? And if the only thing that they accomplished is their sexuality, then guess what? That's not a real accomplishment. We all kind of figure out what we like and what we don't like when it comes to the bedroom, but that is a private manner, you know? It's a private matter. And when it comes to students and kids, I mean, you're still figuring it out, man. I mean, I gotta say, like, you really are still figuring it out. And I don't think that school is the place for it. I don't think LGBTQ lessons should be learned. I don't think that, oh man, we have to have all these different pride events in school and stuff like that. Because that's just weird. Because you're literally just talking about sexuality. That's it. And honestly, it's nobody else's business. And when it comes to children, that goes double, triple. All right. There's this old episode of South Park where they asked Chef, like, okay, so when's a good time for a person to have sex? And he was like, 17. It's like, well, what do you think at 17 they'll be ready to start this? No. 17. You're ready. Call it a day. And I feel that exact same way. Like, at 17, you're a year out before you're legal, So maybe, start figuring it on out then. But before that, and what really disturbs me is just like, they're talking about putting kids on hormone blockers, and it's getting younger and younger. I mean, the student here is 16, but even then, I'm like, you don't particularly know what you like. You may be open to other things. So how about you just, go about your business, go to school and do what you're supposed to do in school, which is get your education. You're not in school to make friends. You're not in school to do anything besides get an education. It's one of the things that I saw at that Yale, there's a protest in Yale where the lady's like, and she's talking to the dean, and she's like, you're supposed to be creating a home here. I sat there and I was looking at it like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? No, he's not supposed to be creating a home there. He's supposed to make sure that you get your degree and you get out the door, because guess what? We got a whole nother batch of kids coming in. But the crazy part about gender studies and all these different little nonsensical lessons that they got going on is that they can, basically build careers in academia and never have to face the real world. And so when they do get a taste of the real world, i.e. President Trump winning unexpectedly, then they don't know how to handle it. And so, like, it's okay to tell, like, I would much prefer this be between parents. Like, I don't think our government has any place in any of this. Let's get back to this article because I've kind of gotten off track. New Jersey's LGBTQ inclusive curriculum law, passed in January 2019, will take effect in 2021 school year. And as a public school, BASCS would be required to implement the law. It's offensive, unconscionable, and flatly unconstitutional for this church acting as a for-profit landlord to restrict a public school's curriculum or censor student speech within those walls. These types of hate-fueled bigotry is precisely why New Jersey needs LGBTQ inclusive curriculum to promote acceptance and understanding. Okay, I don't see this as hatred or bigotry. I see this as it's a church first and foremost. All right. If the school, look, charter school, if you want to go, but you're on church grounds. The church has their standards. If you can't accept it, then, go on about your business. But this I wouldn't consider offensive, unconscionable, or unconstitutional at all. And as far as the hate-fueled bigotry, I really don't see that as the case either. I mean, if you want to talk about hate-fueled bigotry, take it back to my ancestors, right? They were getting dog sicked on them. They were getting hung from trees and lynched and stuff like that. This was just, we're gonna paint over this mural with it, and they didn't even paint fully over the mural. They just painted out the little pride color things because this is a church. We don't play that game. And so it's weird because I find myself defending the church, but I also see where they're coming from, because me personally, I wouldn't want my kids exposed to such things. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't, because it's just planting seeds in their heads that I don't want to grow, to be 100% honest with you. I would like to have grandchildren, eventually. So no, I don't want those types of seeds to grow. And that's why it's so important to have parents that are, strong and good parents that are there to guide the kids, because these kids today are not being guided in a proper way by any stretch of the imagination. Garden State Equality Executive Director Christian, I'm not trying that. Garden State Equality will never back down from fighting for LGBTQ youth. No, no. That just doesn't sound right. And we call on the Bergen Arts and Science Charter School to restore the artwork and enhance its curriculum to teach its students that hate and censorship are not welcome in New Jersey's public schools. Look, I'm sorry, but this LGBTQ stuff should not be welcomed there. These kids are there to learn so they can go on and live productive lives and be upstanding members of society. As far as the LGBTQ stuff, like I said, that is inherently sexual. I have a problem with sex ed. Like, off top, I received sex ed in the 6th grade in New Jersey schools, and I'm gotta tell you, it sucked. I love you, Miss Hicks, but that was a terrible lesson on sex ed that you gave. It was awful. They can barely talk about heteronormative sex correctly. So I know they're gonna get this stuff like completely off the wall. And so, you know what? It's not your job. It's not your place, school. You're there to teach these kids, hey, how to read, write, and do their taxes. Okay, I know not do the taxes, but I'm just saying, like, read, write, do taxes, learn how to pay for a house, and prepare them for productive lives. This is extracurricular right here. This is unnecessary extracurricular right there because we're talking about children. Like, how is this how does this not sound as nefarious to these folks as it does to me? Because this is their lifestyle. This is what they are. This is what they love. This is what they want to promote. And this is the narrative that they want to drive. Like, anybody who has a problem with children, and we're talking about 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds being taught about, sexuality, and particularly, LGBTQ sexuality, I personally do, and I'm not a bigot. Seriously, I'm not a bigot. I have nieces, I have family that are as gay as the day is long. And you know what? When I see them, I love them. It's just like with the Mary Gregory thing. It's not anything personal against Mary Gregory. It's just the fact that you're talking about children. Children in this scenario. No bueno, no mas, man. The school's actions in destroying the students' artwork is rank censorship and out of step with New Jersey values and our laws. Decades ago, the United States Supreme Court held that students do not shed their constitutional rights of freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate, said Garden State Equality Board member and former state bar president Thomas Prohl, Esquire. It is sadly ironic that an educational institution is now delivering a lesson in censorship to these students during their tender years. You know what? I'd rather them get this lesson than the LGBTQ lessons. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'd rather them learn about censorship and learn how to navigate censorship properly than learning how to navigate a dildo properly, if we're going to be 100% real. Sorry. The Archdiocese of Newark released the following statement in response. The Archdiocese of Newark embraces and welcomes all within our faithful community. It's unfortunate that facts regarding wall paintings at the Bergen Arts and Science Charter School have been grossly misrepresented. The Holy Trinity Church simply raised two concerns. First, that the school refrained from consistently painting on the building surfaces. Fair enough. Secondly, that the school removed some content in the new painting, which included some symbols of sexuality that were inappropriate for the building, as the building is utilized by parishioners of the church as well as the school. So this is actually, the parishioners of the church don't want to see it. Don't want to see it. Like, if this school, what was this, Bergen Arts and Science Charter School? Yeah, you can move. You really can. Like, this is the simplest thing, but you're in that school and you're pushing this narrative because you're trying to really propagate the narrative that people who disagree with your lifestyle or what you're pushing are somehow hateful bigots. And I don't think that could be further from the truth. While the focus of attention has been on an illustration of a heart, there was neither any specific discussion about that section of the painting nor direction to remove it. Clearly, the school or teachers decided to amend that part of the mural in response on their own. As already indicated, since the building is utilized by parishioners of the church as well as the school, Holy Trinity simply has asked the tenants to be cognizant of this when displaying information and materials. The mural violated that understanding in its permanent nature, directly painted on the surface and in some of the content. We wish that Garden State Equality first had contacted us directly about the matter. We are more than willing to meet with them and discuss it. Garden State Equality. Why is everybody why are you just releasing statements throughout the media? You could have sat down and talked with them. Like yesterday, Garden State Equality released a statement condemning the removal of students' LGBTQ pride mural at a Hackensack public charter school over church objections. In response, last night, the Archdiocese of Newark claimed that there was neither any specific discussion about that section of the painting nor direction to remove it. Today, Garden State Equality is calling on that church to restore the students' mural. The following statement may be attributed to the Garden State Equality Executive Director, Christian Reverend Paul Provosto, the pastor of Holy Trinity Church in Hackensack, which is the landlord of BASCS, is on the record calling for the 16-year-old student's LGBTQ pride mural sexual, offensive, and obscene, while confessing he demanded the school to take care of it. Okay, so the archdiocese didn't say so, but the pastor did. Okay. Garden State Equality works with many affirming religious institutions, but few have come close to displaying such militant opposition to LGBTQ people and recklessness for the facts throughout history. Jesus Christ. It's like they want they want so hard to really be descendants of slavery. I see that a lot. With the transgender power lifter too. Oh, this is like with African Americans and stuff like that. They want so hard to have that kind of on paper history in this country when that's just not the case. We just didn't give a crap up until the 60s and 70s, and now like we care now. We started caring in the 80s and 90s, and now we're at a point where, hey, you want to be gay, knock yourself out. The deal is that when you're sitting there trying to push it on kids, people will have an issue. Okay, that's just how it goes. In spite of Reverend Provisto's public comments, the Archdiocese of Newark's claimed they neither discussed nor directed the school to remove the students' LGBTQ rainbow heart mural. So if they sincerely want to embrace and welcome everyone as stated, we expect the Archdiocese's swift and urgent call for the school to restore the mural. No, they shouldn't. They should not give in to you at all. That is their church. That is their place of worship. If the pastor don't want it there, then it shouldn't be there. I'm sorry. It's not that it's a bad painting. It's just that you're sending a message that completely goes against a religious faith. And you know what you could do? You can move. Plain and simple. Like, that's it. Like, they're sitting here complaining when you're the leasehold. Like, yo, like it's just like you have a lease, right? And they say no smoking in the house. If you smoke in the house, then guess what? You broke the lease. Right? Or what you do is you go and you move in a house that has smoking. Great. No one cares. But this right here, and particularly because the only student that they brought up in this is the 16-year-old that actually painted the thing. So I don't have a really good barometer of, like how many students call themselves LGBTQ within the confines of this school. But honestly, you should just cut it all out. Just cut it out, because this, like, we're talking about kids, and at the end of the day, that's just not a good mix. These things do not belong in the same breath or the same sentence. Children and sexuality are not, that's not compatible, fam, by any stretch of the imagination. And it really feels like this has been the push, is to, make it compatible. Like Twitter the other day, how long has this video been going on? Almost 20 minutes. Twitter the other day released a tweet talking about age ain't nothing but a number. And I like the Aaliyah song, but I still take issue with the relationship she was in with R. Kelly while she was still a minor, right? I mean, guys, come on, man. This is ridiculous. This is Nutter Butters. And it's not coming from a place of hate by any stretch of the imagination. If you are an adult, if you are a grown adult, have fun. Knock yourself out. But also, if you're a child, it's none of my business. It's no one else's business. And that's a time in your life that you really should be sorting yourself out instead of calling yourself one thing and then demanding that, the world acquiesce to you, because it doesn't have to and it shouldn't. So, points on the pastor, man, for standing up and saying, nah, I'm not really beat for this. I don't like spreading this idea. I don't like spreading this messaging. Apologies to the LGBTQ, which I still think that entire group needs to be broken up, because that intersectionality stuff is nuts. But, nah, family. Nah, not when it comes to the kids. So, with that being said, by all means, all the internet stuff. Like if you liked it, sub if you enjoyed my fantastic voice, share if you're bugged out like me, or you just want to make more like, oh, you believe what this evil bigot said about LGBTQ, or if speak, talk to me in the comments, man. I mean, if you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong, if you think it's okay to press these kind of ideas on the children, let me know by all means. But that what's the name, that law that they signed into place, that the LGBTQ curriculum law, yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm ready to leave Jersey. Because when I have my children, I don't want my children I want to control my that sounds bad, but like, as a parent, you only got like 10 years. You got 10 years to lay a foundation, and I wouldn't want the LGBTQ stuff to seep in. That's just how it is. And like, oh, daddy, I feel like I'm a boy. Oh, well, really? My daughter comes up to me, daddy, I feel like I'm a boy. You're a girl. Done. Sit down. I don't want to hear this again. Like, oh, he heard no, he guided her. And that's the thing, like our society, man, we're so whipped, because like a parent will sit there disciplining their child, and you got all these other people come out of nowhere talking about, oh, well, how could you do that to your child and stuff like that. And it's like, no, you don't, like, there's a lesson to be learned here. But we've worked so hard on removing fathers and authority figures and just completely dismantling our families that, like, this is nuts. This is Nutter Butters, family. So until the next one.